on Sunday, not on Monday night here this week. So let's take a look here at our big five biggest games. Five biggest games on the schedule that are not Baltimore Raven games. So definitely this week, check it out. Big five, a lot of games last week. Good slate of games, and I thought the games watching them were a good slate of games. So Houston in Green Bay. Green Bay wins at the last second field goal. Both teams were about what I expected. Green Bay, I think their defense is actually coming along a little bit more now. Look a little better. Jordan Love's kind of getting his sea legs, winning a close game. Houston, I don't think any less of them losing on the road. I think they have all the pieces for a run as well. Tough to win in Lambeau as well. The Giants and the Eagles, kind of what I thought. I don't see any problem with them making Saquon the focal point of their offense. Not at all. Nothing wrong with that. Saquon, that's why he's there. I think he certainly was motivated. 170 plus yards, I think it was for Saquon in New York. The Giants made a huge mistake letting him go. That was, you got no shot with Daniel Jones. You just have no shot. Any team with a good offense, you're gonna have a problem. So if you're them, you're gonna have real problems. I think the Chefs winning over the 49ers. Chefs go to 6-0. Mahomes hasn't even had the season he's had. This is about as late in the year where I remember Mahomes having more interceptions than touchdowns. Like he's only had 6 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Didn't matter. Niners have issues. We're going to talk about the Niners this week as well. But Niners, the injuries and all that. I would say, though, kind of like Cincinnati, they kind of start slow. So we will see. But they don't really – it's how you finish and not how you start. But this record is not good. And this is kind of what we've seen from them a couple of times. So it'll be interesting to see how they actually do. Lions over the Falcons, over the Vikings last week. I thought these are two teams that are definitely going to the playoffs. I don't know if the Vikings are a paper tiger. I just don't see the talent on that team where they're going to be maintaining this. The Lions, but the Lions are no joke. That was big for the Lions, though. They needed, obviously, to go ahead and get a win like that. And also, too, last week, the Jets and the Squealers. I think that might be it for the Jets. I don't know if they can overcome the hole that they're in. I think the Bills. I think if anything, the division is not good. So I think that's the issue for them. And sooner or later, you got to start winning some games. The Squealers didn't impress me. I think the switch to Russell, I kind of understood it because at least you know what you're getting with Russell. They did score more points in this one, I think, but interesting to see how they do the rest of the year. So, big five biggest games here. The AFC South. Apparently, the Indiana South with the Colts and the Texans in this football game. The Texans there's nothing not to like. Nothing not to like, even though they didn't win last week. CJ Stroud has been terrific. Joe Mixon, I think, has always been underrated. He's outstanding, even with the injury they have. Diggs has been an outstanding addition for them to their receiving core. I think their offensive line is pretty good, so they score a lot of points. They're top 10 in, I think, offense as well. Defense, I think, is outstanding as well. Darnell Hunter and Will Anderson are out. They've been fantastic as far as pass rush. Darryl Stingley in the secondary. There's a lot to like there. The Colts, this is for first place. The Colts are here as well. I just don't think Richardson's the guy. It's a tough one because you put Joe Flacco in, you're going to win more games, but you got to see what you have with Richardson at some point. I kind of thought he was overdrafted. I kind of thought Richardson was kind of a third round guy, but he kind of rose up the draft board because athletically he's the part. He's super quick running the ball and he can throw it deep. Got a great throwing arm. His accuracy just doesn't work, and I don't think you're going to be able to beat the Texans with that. It'll be interesting though if they can kind of still win. It will be a close divisional game. These two teams know each other very well, like the Texans in this one. After the events on Monday, I kind of more changed my thinking on this one. Two teams defensively not great. Offensively, both teams have been really good. The Falcons and the Bucs. The thing is, the Bucs have no receivers now. That's a thing now. All of a sudden, the best thing they did is they had Mike Evans, they had Chris Godwin on the outside. Both of these guys are gone now, right? So Mayfield, a few more picks the last couple games. Interesting to see. I think the Falcons' offense is really good. Bijan Robinson is kind of raring to go. Kirk Cousins has been solid for them all season. Their defense has been disappointing. I think that's for sure. But I like them against the Bucs. I think the Bucs offense is going to start ticking down without those receivers as well. I think that's going to be a problem for them. I think the Falcons definitely want to establish themselves as the best team in this division. Bills and the Seahawks. Most passing yards in the league. Geno Smith. How about that stat? I think the Seahawks are good offensively. I do. I think they're really good offensively. I think they can throw the ball very well. I think they're keeping their stable of running backs healthy. I love the home field advantage that they have. I think there's certain places you go. I know that's kind of more underrated these days with fans coming from everywhere. But Seattle's definitely one. Lambeau's one. There are certain places I do think that's a big thing there. Bills, I think getting Cooper is going to help them a lot, frankly. I think that was the one thing they didn't have is they couldn't throw the ball really down the field as well. So can they get into a battle with the Seahawks and win? I think they do. I think the Bills actually win this game. I think they just have a little bit too much firepower. Allen more consistent, I think, than Geno is. I like Geno. It's hard not to like Geno, but I think Allen, is more consistent with Amari Cooper. I think that's going to matter. The run game hasn't been quite as strong for Buffalo, but I think they should be able to throw the ball. I like the Bills in this one. Interesting. The Cowboys coming off a bye, going against the Niners that are now 3-4. So, excuse me, who needs this one more? If you could answer that question. I think I'll go Cowboys first. Cowboys, I think, are kind of what they are. I think it's going to be good enough to win or it won't in a lot of weeks. They're going to have Dak Prescott. They're going to have CeeDee Lamb. They got to get on the same page with everything. Troy Aikman kind of called them out for the route running and everything. But I don't – that's all you got. You don't have anything else on offense. They have no run game. The line has kind of struggled. I think they're going to go on offense as Lamb and Prescott go. Defensively, I think they're not quite as good. I think they could get better there. I think they've had some injuries. So I think they'll get better. I think that's going to be the thing that helps them. If anything helps them. I think the Niners have a lot of injuries as well. They're not going to have Ayuk, I think, the rest of the season. Deebo Samuel, maybe you don't have him either. That's going to matter. I heard a story this week. I read that Kyle Shanahan was really yelling at Brock Purdy at his locker for like 5 minutes, like in front of the team. Usually a quarterback, they usually won't do that with a starting quarterback on the team. So I thought that was very interesting if that is true as well. That said, I don't think there's anything else they have. I think Purdy is gonna have to do the job for him, carry him going forward. If they get McCaffrey back, I think they are going to get the cavalry back on offense. Defense is coming along. I just don't have faith in the Cowboys. Don't have faith in the Cowboys like the Niners in this one. It'll be a shame if we can't get Jaden Daniels in this one, he might be hurt. He was injured last week. I don't think they're going to have him. This is still a pretty big game. So rarely you have two teams, I think, in the Big Five, like that picked first and second last year. Bears are for real. Caleb Williams, I think, is finally finding his own, kind of like adjusting to the pro game. I think that was because all the physical tools are obviously there. I think he's outstanding. I think they also went to it without the Commanders with Jaden Daniels. I think that's a loss for them. I think that's a big deal to have that as well. I think really kind of blew them off the road. But I would say this: Commanders, I think, might be the best team in the AFC East, in the NFC East. I think their offense has been good all season long. Terry McLaurin has been good. They did lose some defensive tech, so I don't think they're great on defense. I don't think the Bears' offense, I think, is too much for them. I think the Bears actually win the game, especially without Jaden Daniels in the lineup. There you go. Big five biggest games on the schedule. 5 biggest games on the schedule. Tune in to all the games on Red Zone and all other various streaming and cable TV platforms.